our lifeline, Lagos Third Mainland Bridge. Minister Dave Umahi warns it will cost a staggering 3.8 trillion naira to rehabilitate, or 3.6 trillion naira to simply build anew. Underwater damage, decades of neglect, and illegal mining under siege. This isn't just a bridge, it's a financial sinkhole. This is the first story we'll be reviewing today. My name is Sharon Enemchuku, and you're welcome to Active Citizens. The show is Active Citizens Parliament, and I'm joined in the studio by Ifoma Oji. Good evening.
Good evening, Sharon.
How are you doing?
I'm very well.
You look very well.
And you too.
All right. So on that note, we are going to look at the next story. So a Canadian court has called out APC and PDP as terrorist groups and have denied, entrance into Canada to these politicians. They have accused them of electoral killings and violence and mishaps, and therefore, according to them, they would not be admitting them into the country for safety reasons. And that was really interesting when I saw they specifically mentioned APC and PDP. But anyways, let's start with the first story for today. We are going to be looking at the situation with the Third Mainland Bridge and the amount of money that we are looking at in order to rehabilitate it. But before that, we're also going to take a look at some of the comments that have been making round on X, just so that we get a feel of what people are saying online. KB says, our politicians are the problem. Every chance they get is for looting. The San Mateo Hayward Bridge in California is almost the same length as the Third Mainland Bridge and far more elaborate. It costs 107 billion naira, that is 70 million US dollars to build, and 306 billion naira to widen at 1,530 naira per USD, total less than 1 trillion naira. Here our repairs are 3.6 trillion naira. Shagib. Okay, that is interesting. Just says David Umahi now wants to rehabilitate the Third Mainland Bridge for 3.6 trillion naira. Yet in March, the federal government said it would cost just 21 billion naira. Interesting. Let's take one more comment before we call it a wrap. All right. Let's just take our own personal comments first. Do you think, the people are even saying that the 3.8 trillion naira to rehabilitate and the 3.6 trillion to get a new bridge does not even make sense? Why is it costing so much more to rehabilitate than it is to reconstruct a new bridge? But the final comment from Nijib says, cost of building 37 kilometers Fourth Mainland Bridge from scratch is 3.6 trillion naira. That is by Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Lagos Governor. Cost of repairing underwater structures of 12-kilometer Third Mainland Bridge is 3.6 trillion naira. And that is coming from Dave Umahi. So what he's doing is to compare the difference in the prices for the maintenance and the reconstruction of these bridges. But what are your thoughts? Do you think it's too much or it's enough?
The country is actually quite funny. That's number one. And hearing a figure like this, I think it stings. I mean, it's irritating. Let me use that word. Because tell me, why will a bridge cost 3.8 million, trillion, to repair, and then cost 3.6 million? God. Oh, help me.
We have advanced.
Help
okay, we have the million and the over 9 trillion.
3.6 million to, build a new one from scratch. And I'm like, is this where we are at the moment? Now, let's take back to when this bridge was built in the year 1980s and 1990s. In the 1980s, it was under Shehu Shagari's government, and it was completed 1990 under Ibrahim Babangida. And this particular bridge was regarded as one of the longest bridge in Africa, with 11.8 kilometer long. And it later, the Cairo, Egypt bridge later took over You get it now became the longest bridge. But then again, I'm like, if I'm not even it's not even I'm like who are the engineers that planned this construction, and was there overpayment? Because I mean, it wasn't just, they didn't just come out of the blue and say we are building this bridge. It must have taken a lot of in Nigeria here and people outside Nigerian. So I'm like, is it that then that they built it, that they didn't use quality materials?
You know, Nigeria has a problem with maintenance.
I'm still coming to that. And then even if you're saying they have problem with maintenance, I'm like, even if you're to maintain a bridge, why will it cost that much to maintain it than building a new one? Which means we goes back to say that, or to imply that the construction wasn't strong enough, because if it was strong, the building to maintain it wouldn't cost that amount. I don't know if you're getting my point. And I'm like, it is so appalling. It is, God, it's mind blowing.
Because I don't blame you when you kept saying millions, because he thought we were still.
I'm still saying
behind.
Now this particular bridge have been going through maintenance from 2018, before 2018 to 2020 to 2023. According to them, yeah. And then it was 2023 that they released a message saying that the bridge needs urgent attention.
In 2023.
In 2023.
All right.
Okay. So we are back to 2025, and this bridge is on the verge of collapse. And it's more like they are still allowing people, to ply that bridge. And I'm like, do you wait for incidents or accidents to happen before you do the right thing? I think at this point you should prioritize the safety of Nigerians. You understand? From applying that particular, at least we know that that place is seriously bad and it needs to be worked on. But at the same time, halt all the passengers, halt all the vehicles that fly through that place. At least for now that we know that it needs maintenance or it needs reconstruction.
I don't even want to imagine what will happen to the country when transportation is halted on the Third Mainland Bridge, because that is one of our key bridges. But let us take a look at what the Minister of Work said in person of David Umahi. Maybe there is something we are missing out of this, and he would better clarify us.
On the rehabilitation or construction of new Kata and Third Mainland bridges in Lagos State, I drew the attention of FEC to the fact that we've been intervening some new construction, some emergencies in a number of bridges nationwide, like Jemeta Bridge in Adamawa, already completed. Murtala Mohammed Bridge in Kogi State is ongoing. We have Jeba Bridge in Niger State. We have Gashua Bridge in Yobe. We have Eko Kata Marine Bridge and Independence Bridge, Third Mainland Bridge, and the Kata bridges in Lagos. We have Ibi Bridge in Taraba State, Artisan Bridge in Enugu State, Apoha Bridge in Ebonyi State, Opobo Bridge in Rivers State, Barrow Bridge in Niger State, Buruku Bridge in Benue State, 3 numbers collapsed bridges in East-West Road, 2 in Delta and 1 in Bayelsa State. So these are bridges where,
Okay, we wanted to get what David Umahi was saying, but if you watch the video, he was talking about the costs of the bridge, and then he also mentioned the fact that there was illegal dredging, underwater attacks, and design flaws that is plaguing the Third Mainland Bridge, and this is why he has declared it structurally unsafe. And he said, he has also spoken to the government, and that's the president, in private, trying to explain to him. They've conducted research, sent people on the ground to better explain in layman's terms what is going on with the Third Mainland Bridge. And now it's either we have the option of either rehabilitating the bridge or to completely reconstruct the bridge? My question is something we've lightly touched on, but I'm going to start first because I don't believe that the so-called maintenance that they, that we talked about that they have been doing, the routine maintenance, I don't think that they have been doing that regularly, because according to him, they want to award this contract to Julius Berger, and we know that Julius Berger is an award-winning construction company that have done a lot of Lagos roads. But the thing there is that I don't blame people that are comparing the cost of rehabilitating the Third Mainland Bridge with other global projects that cost far less. I'm now wondering if it's costing this much, what's really happened, and who allowed the illegal dredging and the they said that they were getting, they were taking sand from below the Third Mainland Bridge to do whatever they want to do illegally. But is it that after spending such a huge amount of money on rehabilitating this bridge, I don't know where the money is going to come from now, because even the federal government is crying that they don't have enough money. Even when they were talking about pensions, when they were talking about releasing warrants and signing contracts, the portal has been blocked since May 2025 this year, and now you are telling the federal government to bring 3.8 trillion or whichever one they choose to do. So if by some miracle they release this money, because that Third Mainland Bridge is very, very important, we need Third Mainland Bridge. If by some miracle this money is released, is it that later on in future would have to spend a ridiculous amount of money again to kind of rehabilitate it? Or are there going to be measures that will be put in place to ensure that those people that are involved in the illegalities concerning, going underwater and doing what they are not authorized to do, are there any measures in place that would, check that so that doesn't occur? But what do you think, Ifoma?
Yeah, I think at this point, transparency and oversight is needed. I don't even want to deliberate on it. I don't even want to talk about the cost of building it or the rest of it, because I don't even think we should come to this point whereby we should be having the argument, you understand, whether it needs rehabilitation or construction. If the cost of building a new one is cheaper than maintaining it, why don't you go ahead and maintain it? That's number one. And then when you're trying, or when you want to maintain construct new one, we need construction. We need not just construction, we need accountability, we need transparency. I mean, cost breakdown, break down every single dime that you're pouring into it. You understand? Nigerians needs accountability. You understand? In anything, any step you want to take, we want to know, because we really want to know how this thing moved from billions, not even millions, from billions to trillions. So we really need to know the steps. And then the engineers that you're equally employing, are they capable? Are they professionals?
Julius Berger is quite, capable.
I think at this point, I think it's not just him that is needed. He needs a board of engineers. You get? Because if any mistake should happen in this particular one again, my sister, the next one, it will be in zillions. It will be in zillions.
I will congratulate Nigeria. You understand?
So exactly. So that's the same thing I'm saying. We need everything to be tabled down.
And when we keep saying and crying for accountability, it seems as though when you have gotten used to a particular way of treatment, it's as though you are not deserving of that. But it's to remind every Nigerian that you are deserving of accountability. Your leaders need to explain to you what they are doing with your tax money. But let us look at the next story. So this one, a Canadian court has declared APC and PDP specifically terrorist groups. Oh my goodness. So they said that they have been involved in electoral killings, violence, and dirty politics, and therefore they are not fit to be to be admitted to Canada. They are not fit to fly into Canada. And, you know, one of the politicians who has previously been in PDP for a very, very long time now said, and also now moved to APC, he was trying to defend himself and said that he did not have any personal business with, you know, electoral killings or violence, that he just was in the party. And, you know, the court further went on to say that it's not possible for you to be in a party for so long, I think almost 9 years, and you would say that you had no hands in it. And this is exactly what I have been saying here. All of these APC members, no, I'm not just saying APC, but let's use APC for now, because the majority of them are now leaving to ADC. What they will tell you when leaving during their resignation letter is that APC somehow now has failed to live up to his expectations, to his promises, to his mandates, and therefore they cannot continue to condone that or to stay in a party as such. And now they are moving to ADC. And my question has always been, but you've been a part of that party for so long. What did you do to improve things? What did you do to change things? You just suddenly remembered that you can't condone it any longer, and now you want to move. But what do you make of what do you make of the global perspective now, or the POV in our Gen Z term, that the Canadian courts, or not just the Canadian courts, just generally globally, have of Nigerian politicians?
You could see they've declared us terrorists
It's
now.
not me, it's not
I mean, APC and PDP political parties, terrorists. So anybody that is involved in those parties is considered a terrorist. But there was something that APC and PDP came out to say, and they were like saying that it's misinformation. That the public, yes, that those people didn't get their facts right before declaring them terrorists. But I want to read something according to the Canadian Act, which is the paragraph 34(1) of the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act. It says, if you are a member of an organization that has been involved in terrorism, subversion, or violent political activities, you are automatically inadmissible to Canada. And then they said that they don't need to prove you committed violence, and just being part of the group is enough. They applied it here because APC and PDP over the years have that profile of what's it called, violence. You understand? So they don't even need to conduct so much investigation, because I mean, Nigerians are talking. You understand?
Yeah.
You get not just Nigerians in this country, the people in diaspora, they are talking. The social media is talking. So they don't even need to come down to Nigeria to investigate. You understand? Because they already know. So it doesn't matter whether you are somebody of good conduct or somebody of reputable character, but so long as you are a member of APC and PDP, you are a terrorist. Yeah, it's sad that
it says a lot.
Yeah, it's sad that our image has been tainted to this extent. And if care is not taken, apart from the Canadians, other countries will start adopting that. They will begin adopting that, because
they started.
Yeah, and my pain is that we still have honest people in Nigeria in different political parties like APC and PDP. But the problem now is that the bad eggs are now influencing, they are kind of bringing consequences.
Yeah, let me ask, so that we wrap things up. Sorry to cut you short, but like, if with the party affiliations that has caused this particular politician to be denied access to Canada, do you think it's going to be a good punishment for Nigerian politicians to be denied access to the entire world? Let's say.
See, if you had said that, if they had conducted investigations and found out all these these people that claim to be politicians but they siphon money, those people, I mean, those people with questionable characters. I mean, if they do investigation and prevent them from, coming into their country, it is okay. But when a situation whereby you have somebody of good character and then you're preventing that person because of the party that the person once belonged, because now even if you're an ex-member, you are considered a terrorist.
I think
so. You can imagine that. You can imagine that.
It's to be honest, I want to thank Canada. If not that I'm Nigerian. If not that I'm Nigerian, it's just one thing. If not that I'm Nigerian, I just believe that it's time to call a spade a spade. We've been acting as though these people have not been misbehaving for the longest. When there's something about Nigerians that I don't really like, when we are inside, we know how to call out people. But if you know somebody is wrong, let it be public. Air it publicly. Let everybody collect publicly, because one of the reasons why Nigeria is in such deplorable state is because these same politicians have the ability and the access to travel outside, treat themselves to the best healthcare, treat their children to the best education, and now come back and leave garbage for Nigerians. So if other countries can start looking into accepting politicians, ex-politicians from Nigeria, anyone into their country, then it's fine. I don't see a problem with it.
No, I see a problem.
Points will be if it affects well-meaning Nigerians.
Exactly.
That will only be my problem.
Exactly.
But if it's for the politicians, carry go. Now this brings me to my third question. Okay.
I actually wanted to add something to what you just said.
We have to just wrap things up quickly.
Okay.
Can we really separate party actions from individual responsibility, or has the culture of violence become institutional?
You know, the thing there is that when the system is bad, it rubs up on everybody. So to answer your question is kind of hard, you understand, because it's literally the situation we find ourselves in Nigeria. I actually wanted to say something to what you said earlier. The statement. If you can
just keep it brief.
The statement you made earlier, well-meaning Nigerians, that you actually feel bad this affects them. But at the same time, those well-meaning Nigerians are equally in this party. You could see that maybe some of them have the dreams of traveling outside country, and in one way or the other they've been a member. They became part and parcel of these political parties that have been declared terrorists. You could see that it will definitely rub off on them. You understand? So well-meaning Nigeria politicians still there inside the well-meaning Nigerians too. You understand? If it's the people of questionable characters, then I could say, okay, there's no problem.
Yeah.
You can prevent them from,
I understand what you're trying to say, but at the end of the day, let's just pray that we are still able to portray a good image globally, because I don't think the government is doing a good job. You can't come and say that the Canadian government should come and investigate. Who has time? Everybody can see. It's not something that is done in the night. It's not something that is hidden. Everybody knows. Statistics has it. We are number what in hunger list in the world. We are suffering. Everybody can see it. In fact, the way we borrow money is enough to tell the other countries that something is wrong here. Last year you borrowed in millions. Now you are and we are increasing. It's not as though we are reducing. It's not as though things are getting better, or maybe one day we will imagine lending to Canada for once in our life. Let us lend to Canada, lend to the US, lend to the UK. Every time we are the ones borrowing. For how long are we going to continue being a developing country? We are underdeveloped. I'm not even sure they tag us as developing. We are underdeveloped at this point. And I just think when this kind of awareness is rampant, maybe there will be a mind shift, which is what we are looking towards. Talking about mind shifts and the deplorable states and situations that Nigerians have found themselves in, I just wanted us to touch a little bit on the trending issue that has to do with one of Dangote's truck drivers and Fina, former BBN star, who says that truck hit her sister, who just graduated from uni 6 days ago, and now one leg has been amputated, the other one might be amputated. She has suffered a head injury, and her right arm is, also very injured. And, it has been making its round on social media, and it's such a very heartbreaking story to witness. Although the Dangote Group has come out to release a press statement on the matter, do you think that, with what Dangote said, it's sufficient?
I mean, the person is actually Dangote is a big man in Nigeria. You understand?
In
so
Africa
if
too.
in Africa, yes. So if he says he will take care of this, or he will make sure that she's being given adequate attention, then I don't think that we need to question that. What we now do is we watch, you get, from now till whenever, if he's going to affect what he said. But at the same time, I ask myself, did you see the child? I wouldn't even say an adult. The child that was driving
the truck
the
driver.
truck. How can you employ such person without license for investigation? He doesn't have anything that has to do with paper, and you give just because he can move vehicle,
you
give him vehicle.
Drive a truck?
God,
a big one at that.
And do you know that even when they went to court, this guy has nothing to lose. He literally has nobody to speak for him. He does not have a lawyer. His family, I don't even know if they were able to contact the family and if the family could do anything.
And I
ask myself, you are employing people and you don't even know if they are capable of the position you're placing. It's not just a mere driver. He's a truck
driver.
It takes a lot of manpower to drive a truck. And you're giving it to that person.
It's a very sad situation.
And it's still the same thing that we are saying about the system.
But my own is that with Dangote, as big as Dangote is a big empire, who is the HR? Who is the talent acquisition manager? Who is in charge of hiring staffs? Because apart from this FINA case, there are a lot of other cases where people have complained bitterly about these same Dangote truck drivers. And I know from, that experience from someone who has learned how to drive truck, that it's extremely hard to drive trucks. It's not as easy as driving a regular car, and it just takes a whole lot. And where I'm going to fault Dangote is the fact that they hired an underage with no papers at all, with nothing, no technical know-how to drive that truck. And another thing is that I am going to just wish that because this is a recent occurrence, that they respond as quickly as possible, because that's where we would have a different conversation if they don't respond. And it's not just by sending press statement. They said they've also sent people to see Fina's sister. We are going to hear more about that later on. But at the end of the day, I hope that this gets to Dangote himself, so that maybe finally this will be the voice for other people who have maybe experienced similar situations at the hands of Dangote drivers. What are your final words, Ifoma?
Yeah, I wanted to wrap everything up, the whole story we discussed today. CM, the way the system is more like a mirror. We could see through how bad, dilapidated our system is, and it needs serious and urgent attention. We need to, revamp the total system, because if we don't, I mean, our reputation, you could see abroad, is ruined. And if we don't do something fast about it, if we're not fast about, changing the system, revamping the system, I mean, it's going to trickle to all the other sectors of this country when it comes to business, trading, transactions, and every other thing that has to do with this country. So we need to pay urgent attention to our image, not just in this country but outside the borders.
Exactly, and that is well said. Exactly, we need to pay attention to our image, and not just the government, as Nigerians, in your actions, your inactions, with the way you conduct yourselves, especially if you're abroad or if you're still in Nigeria, or what you post on social media about your country or about yourself. It is very important now that image is a very high currency that we cannot afford to joke with. And that said, thank you so much for joining us on Active Citizens Parliament. It's always an enjoyable conversation when you join us over here. My name is Sharon Enemchukwu, and this is
Ifoma Oji.
All right. Don't forget that you can share your comments with us in our comment section. Follow, like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And you can also find me on my personal page at Sharon Enemchukwu. And for Ifoma?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook at Oji Sophia and on Instagram at Miselex.
All right. Till we see you next week, do have a fabulous weekend. Goodbye.